Goku and Gohan have finally escaped the Room of Spirit and Time, but now the real challenge begins. They're going to have to adjust to life on the outside. After being trapped in there for so long, especially for someone like Gohan, it's going to be a pretty big adjustment. What's going to happen with Gohan? What's going to happen with Goku? And also, what is Vegeta going to be up to now? We'll discuss all that and more in part 2 of What If Goku and Gohan Were Trapped in the Room of Spirit and Time. Immediately, now that they're getting adjusted to their normal lives again, Gohan realized how strange of an experience this is going to be. Goku at least was already an adult, but for Gohan, he has to cope with what happened to his life. As mentioned last time, he lost all of his childhood. Granted, it's not like he's an old man now, but he's nearly an adult. He still does want to be a scholar, but he's going to have to really adjust his plans because now he's far behind where he should be. And he will still keep studying, but he's also going to focus more on his power now. With the time he spent in there, it would be pointless to let it go to waste. And even though it's not as bad for Goku, it still was pretty bad for Goku. Just not as terrible as it was for Gohan. He gets adjusted to normal life again pretty easily. He has physically aged, but it's not really that apparent because as a Saiyan, he's still pretty much in his prime. And now he has all those extra years of training and experience under his belt, becoming far stronger than he ever could have expected. Of course, Gohan's above him right now, but Goku, he's not too far behind. Gohan's the undisputed number 1, and Goku's the undisputed number 2. Then, there's a massive gap. So massive that no one can even comprehend how big the gap is. Goku is so far above everybody else, especially with Super Saiyan 3. One of the best things for Gohan to do is to actually spend time training more. Goku and Gohan are going through the same thing together, so a lot of the time they spend bonding actually really helps, as the two face this awkward period of readjusting to life on the outside. Goku has a more optimistic outlook than Gohan, and Gohan is trying to be optimistic, but still, nearly half his life so far was spent in there. That isn't something that he's going to get over with or cope with right away. It's a very big struggle for Gohan. A lot of the time he spent training with Goku is also time spent training with Piccolo. Piccolo wants to see more of this power that they unlocked, and realizes it's far beyond his comprehension. Obviously he got to see it before, but seeing it again, he still can't believe it. No wonder their power was enough to actually break out of there. And they're actually pretty practiced with Super Saiyan 3. It still does have the same drawbacks that it does normally. But they've had some time to work with it, and because of how great the power is, they're not going to let that power go. They're not just going to ignore Super Saiyan 3. They're going to try and perfect its flaws. Unlike in the main story where Goku was dead and didn't even notice the flaws, here, they noticed it pretty much right away when they unlocked it. Soon enough, Goten is going to be born too, and the gap in power is just going to be massive. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's still a hybrid Saiyan, and he's still going to be pretty strong. The thing is, nothing's really going to change about his strength, and at this point in the story, he's still a baby anyways, so it doesn't even really matter. It's not like the story changed the genetics of Goku or Gohan, it just meant they spent a lot more time training, so that's not really going to affect Goten. Goku and Gohan's training is focused on pure strength, but also, it's more of an all-around type thing. As for Piccolo, he can't really help with the strength aspect because he can't really match Gohan in terms of power. It's kind of hard to train him when Gohan's already so far above. But he can help with the mental side, acting as some sort of guidance for Goku and Gohan. He has all the wisdom of Kami and, well, himself. This will help them on a couple different fronts, specifically coping with what happened, and also trying to harness that power somehow. It's more than just brute strength after all. Another big change is that Gohan has to study on his own now. He never ends up going to a normal school and continues just being tutored and trying to teach himself. That also means he's never going to meet Videl. And even if he did, with the way Gohan is right now, that's obviously not going to work. Maybe he'd meet someone else down the line though. More time passes. Gohan eventually ends up mastering Super Saiyan 3, but he can go further. He knows he can. Goku ends up following suit too. Of course falling behind Gohan even further, but is still very powerful. But they wonder, what's Vegeta up to? At a certain point, the Room of Spirit and Time is rebuilt, and Vegeta immediately goes inside. Not with anyone else, he just goes in completely alone. It's out of morbid curiosity. Now he's not going to purposely lock himself in there like them, and that's not even going to happen anymore. There's been safeguards put in against that so it doesn't happen again. And the room has been upgraded to the point where it could probably withstand the force of something like that. Probably. So if someone were to turn Super Saiyan 2 in there, the door's not going to explode again. Piccolo, Goku, and Gohan all suggested some upgrades, with Piccolo, Dende, and Popo rebuilding it together. Vegeta's going to be the first one to break it in. Obviously it's not his first time being in there, but he feels this will be effective. He's going to try to brute force power. He knows what he's aiming for now. Super Saiyan 2 and Super Saiyan 3. He can get those. He knows they exist, and he has info from Goku and Gohan. He's going to utilize that to make himself stronger. There's been points in this time period so far where he's tried to fight with Goku, but he really can't. They've had that rematch that they've been talking about. Actually, a couple times even. But it's not even really a rematch because Goku is so far ahead of Vegeta that, well, it's not even a contest. And that's part of the reason Vegeta wants to do this. Not just to surpass Goku, but also because he does want to get stronger in general. I mean, that's never going to change. Although, it's not really as effective training in here. First of all, he's alone, and second of all, at a certain point, he gives in. He stays in for about 2 years and does unlock Super Saiyan 2, but he sees the torment these two went through. He was in here for 2 years and could have left whenever he wanted. Him being alone not only affects the rate at which he grows in terms of strength, but it also affects his mentality. Like, obviously it's worth noting that Vegeta's not going to get as strong if he doesn't have a training partner in there. But more importantly, being secluded in a room that's that intense, with nobody else to interact with for 2 years, that takes a toll on Vegeta. The good thing is that he's able to leave when it becomes too much for him, but it lets him see a fraction of what Goku and Gohan went through. At least for them, it wasn't one person in there alone. They had each other. He can't imagine what it would have been like if only one of them was trapped inside there alone. That would have been even more torturous. But they spent so many years in here, years on end, facing the intense conditions of the room, and having no contact with anyone besides themselves. Not to mention they had to ration food and everything. They were in there for years, while Vegeta could and did leave whenever he wanted to. They did not have that luxury. He can't imagine the baggage they're carrying. So not only does his training give him some more power and lets him unlock Super Saiyan 2, but gives him a better understanding of Goku and Gohan. He already knows them decently well by this point. And he kinda knew this going in, but he sees how unhealthy of a method of training this is. They only did it out of necessity because there was nothing else to do in there, and that was their only way to escape. But it gives Vegeta a completely new perspective on those two. He knew what they went through before, but now he experienced that, at least partially. It was only a fraction of what they had. But even so, it was enough to show him how torturous that was. More years pass. Vegeta ends up growing closer with them. His rivalry with Goku does continue. Even though there's a big gap in power, they do spar from time to time, with Vegeta also sparring with Gohan, and actually finding a new rival within Piccolo. They're at a similar level of power. Vegeta's above Piccolo, of course, but the gap in power between them is not nearly as big as it is between Vegeta and Goku. Vegeta accepts that he probably won't get as strong as Goku anytime soon, at least not with any traditional methods. And that's going to have a big effect later on because soon enough we go into the Buu Saga. Well, it would, but the Buu Saga is going differently here. First of all, it doesn't happen when it normally did. Just as a side note, if Babidi did try to possess Vegeta, it wouldn't work here. But there's no need for that. Babidi's actually acting a lot more covertly here. There's already so much energy on Earth that he doesn't need to wait until the World Tournament. He could actually strike earlier on. There's so much energy to steal. There's no momentous event. He just attacks at random. One day, during Goku and Gohan's training, Goku's attacked. A random demon-looking guy comes in, holding some strange device, stabbing Goku with it. Goku could feel the energy being drained. And just as quickly as it happens, the man is gone. Immediately after, the two Kais teleport in, Shin and Kibito. They sense a spike of some sort of ominous energy here. They knew Babidi was out there somewhere, but they didn't realize he was planning to strike right now. This was all on a whim. They had no time to prepare for this, and they feel awful about it. This is bad. Kibito heals Goku. Although Goku's at a good level right now, not too much energy was taken from him. Well, there was a lot of energy taken from him, but relative to the total amount of power that Goku has, it wasn't a large percentage, which is concerning. Shin and Kibito recognize how powerful he is, and even if only a fraction of his energy was stolen, that could be enough for Buu. Gohan immediately teleports in. With Piccolo and Vegeta, actually. He sensed what was going on. And they all see Shin and Kibito. Shin and Kibito give a brief rundown, but they can't spend too much time explaining. They gotta find Deborah and stop him before he gets back to Buu. But they have no way of sensing him. He's concealing his ki, and they don't know where Babidi is either. They know the general direction that Deborah headed in though, so they fly over there. They waste no time either, flying as fast as they can, and eventually, they come across some sort of spaceship. Waiting outside of it is Deborah. Gohan looks over at Goku and nods, and immediately flies downwards. Deborah assumes a battle stance, ready to fight. As Gohan flies down towards the surface, he quickly transforms into Super Saiyan, and with a single punch, his fist pierces through Deborah's chest, with Deborah exploding as Gohan's ki surges throughout his body. Shin and Kibito's jaws drop. They killed Deborah that easily? And this isn't even Gohan's full power, not even close. This is his weakest transformation, and it was still able to do that, which concerns them even further. If Goku's on a somewhat similar level, and they got energy from him, imagine how much energy Buu has right now. And there's no need to imagine. Deborah wasn't protecting the ship at all. Babidi knew he would die. He was just a distraction. Gohan launches into the ship with Goku following, but it's too late. As they descend downwards, a huge plume of steam flies up. They're barely able to get out of the way in time. It's scorchingly hot. And from this plume of steam, a mysterious figure arises out of it, with Babidi standing on his shoulder. He thanks them all. They made the process relatively quick. Majin Buu has been awoken. Much quicker than normal, and much earlier than normal. Shin and Kibito curse everything. They can't believe it. They can't believe they didn't prepare for this. Piccolo interjects. It's a good thing they came here and helped. Even if they didn't know about Babidi striking right now, well, nobody did. The Kais at least gave them the info to work with to try and solve this issue. And this didn't happen due to the Kais' incompetence. It happened because they simply didn't know where and when Babidi would strike. So you know what, for once, let's cut Shin and Kibito some slack. they're doing their best. Well, Majin Buu isn't too fearsome for them though. Shin and Kibito are reassured by seeing Gohan's strength. Even one of them should be enough, but with both of them here, yeah, Majin Buu might actually not be that much of an issue. And Goku looks over at Gohan. He'll take this one. He hasn't actually had a chance to test out his full power yet against anybody. And maybe Buu will be a great opportunity. But before Goku can do anything, somebody else steps in. It's Vegeta. Vegeta says he hasn't had an opportunity either, and tells them he needs to do this. He asks them to please let him try. And they're surprised to hear this from Vegeta, but they can kinda understand it. They can tell that Vegeta probably feels sidelined seeing how strong they are, and this fight will be a great way for him to prove himself. They're not too sure, especially hearing how dangerous Majin Buu is, but they realize that Vegeta does need this. Well, at least they'll be here as backup in case anything goes wrong. Vegeta knows the risk. Shin and Kibito advise them against this. They should just end this now while they can. But Goku and Gohan want to see what Vegeta's capable of. And if something bad does occur, they could easily stop this battle. Although, Gohan's a bit unsure about this. The more he thinks about it, the more he realizes it might be better to just get rid of Buu while they can, instead of letting Vegeta fight him. Who knows what could go wrong? I mean, they saw what happened with Cell. Well, they didn't see it firsthand, but they heard about it. The way he got his perfect form. What if Buu finds a way to somehow get stronger during this battle? Is it worth the risk? Gohan's ready to attack at any moment, and they watch. Vegeta turns Super Saiyan 2, immediately going in to fight Buu, not wasting any time. And he is actually very powerful. Even if he's a form behind them, he's very strong. The most surprising part is, the two of them seem dead even. It shocks Babidi too, and he's concerned until he's killed by Vegeta. So he doesn't feel anything, because he's dead. He can't feel anything. Come on. They see Vegeta's working quickly, which is why he killed Babidi without hesitation. And he's actually holding Buu off. Vegeta's glad. He's this strong now. He didn't realize. Goku and Gohan are surprised too. They could sense Buu's power, and it is impressive. Not as impressive as theirs, but impressive. And Vegeta's fighting pretty evenly with him. Although, that's the issue. He's only fighting evenly with Buu. He's not above Buu, and Buu has regeneration and magic, which does pose an issue, especially at a certain point where in the battle, Buu ends up splitting. He turns into some gray Buu and some pink Buu, and Vegeta's happy to see this. It should make it easier to kill him now if the power is split between the two of them. He goes towards the pink one first, trying to kill Fat Buu, and Gohan doesn't want to take any risk here. He immediately lunges in towards Evil Buu, and the Evil Buu then launches a beam at him. Gohan's about to knock it away, but Shin yells out, "Dodge it! Don't let that beam touch him!" And right before it's too late to dodge it, Gohan's able to move out of the way as he flies towards Evil Buu. The beam flies right past him, then splitting into two, curving. Vegeta and Good Buu aren't able to get out of the way in time. Each of them are hit by the beam, and Gohan looks back. They've been turned into candy. He turns back towards Evil Buu, but he's already vanished, then teleporting over to where the two others are, eating them as he grins in Gohan's direction. Well, it's a good thing he dodged that beam. But did Buu just kill Vegeta? He turned him into candy and ate him. And no, that's not what happened. Something much weirder happens. Evil Buu begins morphing. Now with Good Buu and Vegeta absorbed within him, he turns into Super Buu with the power of Vegeta, which we'll just call Boogeta. And he's definitely a lot stronger than before. Shin and Kibito think they're doomed, but Piccolo comments on the situation. Even with that increase in power, it's still not going to be enough to defeat Goku and Gohan. And now they know Buu's tricks, know him to avoid it. It is a fearsome new foe, but he's not too fearsome in terms of strength, although there is a new concern for them now. They could easily kill Buu right now if they wanted, which they actually do want to, obviously. But if they kill Buu, that means they're also killing Vegeta. And Vegeta's already been revived by Earth's Dragon Balls once, so they can't just use that as a solution. They're going to have to find some way to get Vegeta out of Buu, and then defeat Buu that way. Even with their great power, there's still limitations to how they could fight certain villains. But they'll figure out a way around it. The two of them are smart fighters, and they could definitely figure something out. But what exactly are they going to do here? This is where we'll leave off for now. So what do you guys think about this part? What do you think's going to happen next? Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to drop a like if you liked the video, as well as subscribing if you haven't already. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.